Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad that y'all are here with me today. We're talking about this week's episode of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Oof, shit's getting real, y'all. Shit is getting real. We're gonna break it down, all of it, today. So we pick up where we left off last week. Kyle, Dorit, and Kathy, they are all now fully recovered from COVID, and all the ladies are getting ready to head to the desert and make their way to Palm Springs, or as they kept calling it, La Quinta. So they're all packing, getting ready to go to the desert. So we've got a lot of different things that we're going to talk about in this recap. Obviously, we have all of the Erika Jayne legal woes. More is coming out. It gets real interesting at the end of this episode, and we're going to break it all down, don't you worry. Amazing Kathy Hilton moments that we need to talk about. And this whole episode really revolves around Kyle making a lasagna. Let's pick up at the beginning of this episode. All of the ladies, they are packing for this desert La Quinta trip, and the amount of stuff that these ladies are packing for a 2-day trip, it is literally insane. These ladies are biting at the bit to take their fanciest of fancy clothes and get super glammed up. And we wouldn't expect anything less from our Beverly Hills ladies, now would we? So let's talk about Erika. So we open up this week's episode, and Erika is selling her famous Clubhouse studio because it's an expense that she, quite frankly, doesn't really need to be paying for right now. Erika said in her confessional that since she left, she has not received one dime from Tom. And that's because he doesn't even have a dime to give. So that's that on that. Tom's broke. He's got nothing to give anybody. So Erika also says that she's on a budget, and it can be challenging at times and horrible at times. She said that she is able to take care of herself, and people want to forget that. I find that a little hard to believe, and that's just my opinion. So for anyone that is unfamiliar with this quote-unquote clubhouse, it was where Erika Jayne's studio and office was held. It's where she held events, photo shoots, meetings, glam squad shit. It's really where everything Erika Jayne and the Pretty Mess happened and went down. So now Erika, she has officially turned over the keys and let the clubhouse go because she no longer can afford to keep up with it. And what will happen next with Erika Jayne, we really don't know. I don't really know how Erika Jayne can continue, especially since it's really so expensive, no pun intended, to be Erika Jayne. And quite frankly, she doesn't really have the means to keep up with the Erika Jayne image. So the verdict is still out on what is going to happen with Erika Jayne.
Everything comes to an end.
So now we're going to move this dog and pony show over to La Quinta, and we're going to head over to Kyle's Palm Springs house, and that is where we're going to spend the rest of this week's episode. So all of the ladies, they are arriving to Kyle's house. Rinna, she is the first to arrive. Dorit, she arrives next. Kathy is the next to arrive with the largest candle known to man. What the hell is that thing? Only Kathy Hilton, am I right? But can someone please explain to me why there is a giant chip on the side of this candle? Is she regifting this? I'm pretty sure that this candle is a regift. There, I said it. So we also find out that Garcelle and Crystal, they are not going to be staying at Kyle's house during this trip. Both of those ladies are going to be staying at a hotel. Kyle didn't really want to put Crystal up in her house because of Sutton and them not really getting along, especially after what happened at Rinna's party with the whole ugly leather pants debacle. So when Kathy arrives, she is explaining to all of the girls that this is the first time that she's driven for 2 hours by herself and that her knees hurt.
2 hours.
2 hours. My knees hurt. Wait, all by myself.
All
That's
by
the first
yourself.
time you've ever driven here alone.
I have never driven here. I don't drive by myself
I know.
anywhere.
Apparently, when Kathy Hilton drives, she doesn't do it alone, so I'm guessing she has a driver, or if she's the one driving, someone else is in the passenger seat, or she's in the passenger seat. It's a whole thing. Bottom line is, Kathy Hilton hasn't been in the car by herself for 2 hours in a very long time. Also, Kathy is expecting Kyle to have bell services at her house to help with all the luggages, because why wouldn't Kyle have that type of amenity at her private residence?
Do they have a man here that can help? Because some of it's heavy.
I don't have help here. Did you bring a houseman? Sorry, Kathy, that this is not the Waldorf Astoria, but no, I don't have a bellman.
So then Crystal, she is the next to arrive as Kyle is outside acting as bell services at her own damn house. And as everyone is getting all of their luggages, you can overhear Kathy say, "Kyle, you need to get a luggage cart." Only Kathy. Kyle is a great sister though, and even hooked up Kathy with her own personal mini fan. But we all know that bitch brought her big ass Windmaker fan. Also, we are making some major progress with Sutton and Crystal. They're giving each other compliments, which is a huge leap forward.
You look nice.
Thanks, you too. You look really cute.
Well, thank you.
Progress, people. Progress. As all of the ladies are hanging out in the kitchen, major bombshells about Erika are dropped. Kyle asks how her appearance with Tom in court went today, and Dorit shares that the judge ordered all of Tom's assets to be frozen because the courts believe at least $2 million were used inappropriately. So Rinna, she is very perplexed by this news, and she's all, "So that means you can't touch your money?" And Dorit is like, "No, you cannot touch your money." So that's what it means when your assets get frozen. You do not have access to any of your banking account, any of your money, anything. They're frozen and you can't use it. So all of Tom's assets are frozen, which means all of the money, whatever money he has left, he no longer has access to any of that. And all of that $2 million that was used inappropriately, that was the funds that were meant to go to the victims of this Lion Air plane crash. It's wild, y'all. It's wild. But Dorit finally opens up a little bit and shares about her legal issues and how her assets were frozen due to legal issues PK had before Dorit even came into the picture. So because PK was going through some legal crap and Dorit was married to PK, all of Dorit's assets got frozen. And I would love to learn more about this because I feel like that situation was kind of glossed over. But I did read that PK and Dorit owe $1.3 million in back taxes. So I'm not sure how Dorit got off scotch clean, not being able to talk about that this season. Maybe next season we can talk about Dorit's legal issues. There, I said it. Crystal, though, with this whole frozen assets, $2 million owed, Crystal doesn't understand how this makes sense because someone that has that much money as Tom Girardi does, $2 million is insignificant and you can just write a check and make it all go away. However, Tom doesn't have shit. He has no money. He used every single cent that he stole from all of these victims and all of his clients. It's gone. There is nothing left. The well has run dry. So $2 million in Tom Girardi's eyes is a lot of money when you don't have any money. There, I said it. So Kyle and Rinna then are making dinner, the lasagna. This lasagna is what this whole episode revolves around, I feel like. So while Kyle is cooking, Crystal and Sutton are at the bar making drinks together and they like kind of elbow bump and they have friendly conversation. Again, we're making progress here with the whole Crystal Sutton thing. We're making progress, people. It's nice to see.
I can't give you a hug, but I can give you an elbow bump.
Okay.
So all the ladies are in the kitchen hanging out, and Kyle asks where the chopped onions are for her lasagna. And Kathy is me, y'all. You do not put chopped onions in a lasagna.
Did we not get chopped onions?
What, you don't put onions in...
You don't know how I make my
Oh, I
lasagna.
don't want onions in lasagna.
I don't think you need it.
Chopped onions does not a lasagna make. I'm just saying, it's an unnecessary ingredient that doesn't need to happen. Ooh, comment below if you put chopped onions in your lasagna, because I sure in the hell do not. So now Erika arrives to Kyle's house, and all of the ladies, they rally behind her, they give her hugs, they ask how she's doing. They're like, oh my God, Erika, I'm so sorry. We're here for you. We're here for you. So annoying. So let's have another round of the fake cry scenes and another soap opera performance by Miss Erika Jayne. Honestly, this bitch is really thirsty for an Oscar, and she is really pulling a performance here. But why does Erika look like she's about to sneeze? Someone give that bitch some allergy medication. She needs a Benadryl, maybe the drowsy kind. Go to sleep, Erika. Go to sleep. Honestly, last week, I feel like I kind of felt for Erika. I really did. I felt her story. I felt like maybe she's telling the truth, and maybe we shouldn't judge a book by its cover. But then as I was watching this week's episode, and she talked about this car crash with Tom, but don't y'all worry, we're going to get to that in a minute. Hold tight, stick with me. Once she talked about that car crash story, and none of it really added up, I'm like, this bitch, what's she talking about? Because I don't know. I don't really know if I believe her anymore. I think that she's doing this for attention. I think she's doing this for a storyline, which it's working because we're all watching and ratings for this season are through the freaking roof. I just feel like she's doing it for the cameras. She's trying to play the victim. She's trying to paint herself as this innocent fawn in the woods, and I didn't know what was going on, and let me get a vapor stick and rub it under my eyes to make me cry, and it's not good, Kyle. It's not good. Things are gonna be really bad for a long time. I don't know why that Erika Jayne impersonation sounded like Jennifer Coolidge, but it did. Makes me want a hot dog real bad. Okay, we've got to move on, y'all. We have to move on. So Erika is sitting on the couch with all of the other ladies, and she's explaining, everything that's going on with all of her court stuff, all of her legal issues, her relationship with Tom, and just filling everyone in on everything that's going on in her life. She shares that she is not speaking to Tom at all. She also doesn't know who is Team Tom and who is Team Erika with the whole attorney world, because Tom is friends with a lot of attorneys, and Erika rolled in that sort of crowd. So it's hard for her to find someone to represent her and give her advice because she doesn't know if they have her best interest at heart, especially with all of the stories coming out, making it seem like Erika is the one that's the mastermind behind all of this. It's really hard for her to find people that have her genuine interest at heart. All the stories are saying that Erika knew about what was going on. She is the one that crafted all of this and is hiding all the assets, and she is, filing for divorce, and it's not real, and it's a whole sham, and it's a whole shit going on, really. So she's also sharing how Tom is resistant to anything and how angry he was and that he would lash out at her all of the time. So Erika is saying that she is so tired and so drained because she is getting dragged into all of this. And then Sutton asks, why is that? And then Kathy Hilton chimes in and says they just do that because Tom and Erika are married, and they do that sometimes. So Dorit then jumps in and explains the same thing happened with her and PK when they went through their legal issues, which they didn't even talk about at all on the show. So Dorit says that her name was smeared. She was dragged through the mud. Dorit says in her confessional that it's very normal for spouses not to know all of the business dealings with each other, which I found fascinating. Like, I guess that's just like rich people problems, and I wouldn't understand that. Kathy then says that marriages are built on trust, and that if her husband came in with a stack of papers and asked her to sign them, she would, and she would not ask questions because she trusts her husband. And now I can see that happening with Erika. I can see that like blind loyalty. But the fact that so many things aren't adding up, and the fake crying, and the fake woe is me, and the fake victim, innocent fawn in the woods, I'm just not buying it. I'm just not buying it any longer. But I'm still watching. You know what I'm saying? I'm still watching. So then we switch gears, and Sutton and Erika are having a little side conversation, and she's asking how she likes her new house. Sutton is asking how Erika likes her new house, and they're talking about how Erika put up some Christmas garland and a little Christmas tree to make it feel kind of somewhat normal. And Sutton then shares a very private story with Erika about how her father shot himself right before Christmas. Sutton says that when tragic things happen during the holiday time, those traditions and those rituals, you have to keep them going because they keep you going. That made sense in my mind to think of it this way. So last year, during the peak of the pandemic, we were all stuck in quarantine. We didn't really know what was going to happen. We all decided to put up our Christmas decorations early because it made us feel normal and it kept us going. I know I did that. I put my Christmas decorations up early because it made me feel happy. It made me feel normal. It made things not look like shit so much. You know what I'm saying? So Sutton shares that her dad was struggling with severe mental illness, and it was just very touching for Sutton to open up about her relationship with her father and share that moment with Erika. It was a very nice, touching moment, and a nice bonding moment for Erika and Sutton to like find some like common ground. But that ain't gonna last very long. If y'all watch that mid-season trailer, that bond is going to be broken real quickly. And we'll get to that in a minute. So now let's move on to something a little more fun and lighthearted. Prankster Kathy Hilton is serving stale, hard bread to all of these ladies. I love Kathy Hilton so freaking much.
Oh, it's always good to laugh.
Kathy, no!
So I need to talk about this moment. Kathy Hilton is struggling to get her suitcase up the stairs, and I don't know if y'all noticed this, but Erika Jayne walked right by her and doesn't even offer to help Kathy carry her bag up the damn steps. You're a real bitch, Erika. You're a real bitch. But here comes Miss Dorit to lend a helping hand. This is what a nice, genuine person does. And then Dorit also then takes Kathy's big fan and fans Kathy off to cool her down. What a gem Dorit is. So now let's move back to the kitchen and check on this lasagna and also Kyle. And someone please get Kyle Richards a lazy Susan.
Oh! What are you doing?
She is a freaking train wreck in the kitchen, and it's giving me, the king of anxiety. And then Kyle drops a glass spice jar.
Oh!
And Kathy asks for a dust buster.
Do you have a dust buster? What is this, 1975?
Kathy, this is not 1975. She then gets a grill brush and uses it as a broom. That is a kitchen utensil that you use food. I'm sure Kyle has to throw that away. Like, you cannot possibly reuse that brush now. It has glass all in it, not sanitary at all. These ladies, though, in the kitchen, it is a hot mess express. Erika then offers to help sweep up the mess because apparently Erika likes to sweep.
Where's the broom? I like sweeping. Okay, now where did it break?
I bet she does like to sweep. Now that Erika has to do all of her own household chores in her tiny house, she probably loves to sweep. This is how us peasants live. We have to do our own damn chores. So as all of the ladies are sitting down for dinner, Kyle gets a text message from her daughter that Drake is following Rinna and that Kyle needs to step up her social media game. Rinna doesn't even know who Drake is and was all, I don't even know who Champagne Papi is. One, it's Champagne Papi, and two, Champagne Papi is Drake's Instagram handle. So anyway, back to the dinner. We're all eating and Kathy is explaining that it's a new moon and a night like that doesn't happen very often and it happened like 600 years ago. So what they're supposed to do is let go of toxic energy and manifest what we want moving forward. And if you have a candle, you need to manifest your wishes, let go of toxic energy, and blow the candle out. And the way Dorit slid that candle over to Erika so quickly, I'm officially deceased. She's like, here, take this candle, blow it out. You need it more than anybody at this table, bitch.
Like have a candle and then blow it out.
Seriously. So now let's talk about more Erika Girardi shit, shall we? The ladies are asking Erika what she's going to do with Erika Jayne. Is she financially responsible for herself? And Erika does answer these questions. She said that she is financially responsible for herself and has been since November. The judge denied spousal support and Sutton asks how that makes Erika feel. And Erika said, I don't think there's anything really left to get, which there isn't. Tom's broke. Like, not a little broke. Tom's a lot broke. Tom has no money. So, of course, Erika isn't getting anything. So, she kind of probably stopped hoping for that a long time ago. There's nothing coming in. He's broke.
He is broke. Yes, he is.
Erika also says that Tom should turn in his bar card and stop practicing law. She doesn't think he's doing well, psychologically, physically, mentally. She said he's not well and he needs to stop. So, buckle up, guys. Now we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about Tom's mental capacity and him possibly having dementia. And Kyle says, oh, that's why he couldn't drive himself places. And that's how he got in a car accident a few years ago. So let's talk about this car accident story. This weird flip of a bitch story that literally doesn't make sense. And I've tried to have it make sense. And it doesn't make sense. But we're going to talk about it. So a few seasons ago, Tom got in a car accident that Erika heavily played down. Tom crashed his car, broke his ankle. The car wasn't fine, Tom was fine. That's what she said on the show. Erika then says, yeah, Tom had a car accident, which was true. I just didn't tell you the rest of it.
I called you and I said Tom's had a car accident, which is true. But I just didn't tell you the rest of it.
So here's what. Let's talk about it. You better believe I'm going to talk about it. Tom did have a car crash and broke his ankle. Tom was unconscious for 12 hours. Kyle says, he was? That's not good. And Erika says, I know, because I found him. So, Tom had a head injury, broke his shoulder, broke his clavicle, snapped his ankle in two, and he drove off a cliff. You have heard me correctly. Tom Girardi drove off a cliff. Erika then said that he wasn't even with the car. He was down the hill. Tom was driving on an old windy road behind their house. It was a switchback that went down a steep hill. Erika was explaining how Tom missed the turn, but he tumbled out of the car. He fell out of the damn car, but she found him with the car, but he was out of the car. It just doesn't make sense. And I am Sutton. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. I'm trying to understand it and I can't.
This car story is so confusing to me. Thrown from the car, not thrown from the car. I don't get it. Was the car totaled?
So Kyle then asks, so he didn't come home. you got worried, so you went out looking for him, right? And Erika says, when he finally called me. What? So Tom was unconscious for 12 hours, but called her. Okay. I thought Erika was the one that found him unconscious. And now she's saying that Tom called her and that she just thought that he was out with another woman. So then we get into cheating rumors. So we have the divorce being a sham. We have the car accident that doesn't make sense. And then we go from that car accident to Tom cheating on Erika. So Tom was cheating on Erika, and she has evidence that she found on his phone. Text messages, voicemails, pictures. Erika says that Tom didn't even deny cheating on her. I just don't understand this whole accident story. She just says it so nonchalantly. And here's the thing. Something like that, Tom Girardi, a world-famous attorney, driving his car off of a cliff, and none of us heard it on TMZ or any type of... I don't remember seeing that on any news outlet. I just don't. And now all of a sudden he drove his car off a cliff, flew out of the car, or didn't fly out of the car. She found him unconscious, but yet he called her, so she didn't find him unconscious. It just isn't adding up. And then from that we go into the cheating rumors. Just so much just doesn't make sense in my mind, and it's like, I don't understand. And I can't relate to it. But we do end this episode with some pancake cake, and Lisa Rinna bringing up Scott Disick again. Side note, I will say that pancake cake looks so good, and I really want the recipe. I might have to hit up Sutton. I should actually message her on Instagram to see if she'll message me back about that pancake cake, because that looks like a Southern thing, and she probably made it. And then with Scott Disick, you know that Lisa Rinna will talk about Scott Disick any single chance that she can get. And that is a wrap for the first half of season 11 of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. We end the episode with the still to come on this season of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. The mid-season trailer, it is out now. I did a whole reaction video to it. I'll include a link to it in the description below and a card for it up here so you can watch it for your viewing pleasure. And that's all I've got for you guys today. What did you think of this week's episode of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? Me personally, I loved it. It was a lot of fun, minus the Erika shit. No real drama happened other than the Erika shit. It was a good episode. A lot happened. It was good. We laughed, we cried, we cringed, we said what the fuck. It was great. That's all I've got for you guys today. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!